So you might think it's a little strange that a webcomic artist has their own comic website, but I promise you it's not. It's actually very popular for comic artists to have their own websites while also posting on things like Webtoon and Tapas. This is mostly due to the worry about censorship or overpowered corporations trying to steal stuff, but lots of webcomic artists usually have a comic website just dedicated to their one webcomic. However, I am planning to try and complete at least 4 different webcomics in my lifetime of varying genres, and I figured that it would be a good idea to just get a singular website where I could post all of my webcomics and be done with it, instead of having like 4 separate ones that I needed to constantly maintain. A website anthology, if you would. So that's why the southsunsetcomic.com website exists. However, I am no coding expert. In fact, I know nothing of coding other than the movies make it look way cooler than it actually is. But when I look at my website, I got sad, like very, very sad. It was so sad. So I figured I could use YouTube as an excuse to revamp my website and talk you through some of the ideas I had and how I've executed them to see if this could help you guys out if you wanted to make your own. The first thing to note was that I have upgraded my WordPress site from personal to premium. The premium website allows you to embed things like shops and merch, which I am not doing at the moment, but I upgraded because the personal plan doesn't let you change the site color scheme, which is one of the reasons why my website looked so sad, because I didn't know that when I first set it up. Premium also has a lot more storage, so as I'm starting to upload more chapters, this will become very handy. The next thing I wanted to do was redesign the layout of some of my pages. I feel like I pretty much nailed my library section by complete accident the first time around, so I'm going to try and keep that the same. But I really wanted to revamp my homepage, the socials page, and maybe take out the support sections and then maybe add in a blog section. I know it probably sounds like a lot of work, but I really just wanted to make this website feel like a place that really represented me and where I wanted to go. Another thing I wanted to bring in was my YouTube aesthetics too. The way it works in my head is that when I finish a webcomic and move on to another one, I can change my whole brand aesthetic, so you can see exactly when videos were made in the context of my webcomics. I don't know whether that will work out or not, I just think it's a really fun idea to show like the different genres and aesthetics that go on from wherever I am in my life. Let me show you the designs that I made to properly reflect what I'm trying to say. So on my main page, I really wanted to have like a little bit of like an about me or about the site section, mainly just trying to say that, hey, this is a mess, but like if you go to the library, it looks so much cooler. Something a bit like that. I really wanted to add my webcomic trailer in. I don't know if it's going to be completed by the time this video goes up. At the moment, I haven't even started it, so you know. We'll see. But then I also was looking at maybe adding in a little blog page where people could, like, I don't know, just chat and hang out. If I post something that's like maybe a spoiler or like a little update, have something there, as well as having like maybe rolling covers so that people could like see what I've been working on, where to find things and such. As I said, the library was pretty much nailed, spot on. So I was very much not going to change that. Same with my portfolio page. I really liked the way that I did that. It's pretty simple, but I think it gets across like the art and everything that I do. The next thing that I wanted to change was the socials and support section. So I have this little section where it's, you know, it's about me and it's got all of my stuff on it, but then I also had a separate page where it was like, show your support, and both looked really shit. So in my head, I was like, well, if you combine them and I can have it so each section is like together, and then, you know, maybe if I add people, or maybe if I end up hiring people to help me out with my webcomics, I could add them on this social bit as well as their support links and everything like that. So that was just like future planning, I guess, because, you know, who am I if not to look into the future and get sad by it because the world is crippling and everyone is somehow become less empathetic. But that's like a story for another time. Anyway, and with my initial plan out of the way, let's actually get on to like the speed edit of me redesigning this website. And let me tell you, it was a struggle. I think the main thing to note right at the beginning of this little edit is that I genuinely have no idea what I'm doing. Right, so I've somehow managed to, well, I say somehow, I actually did figure it out. I added in the background, which I thought was quite fun. I wanted it to be less zoomed in than it is at the moment, but I figured that, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing, and the way that I wanted it laid out probably wasn't going to work well either, because I don't know how WordPress really works, and none of the tutorials I found online actually helped me. But so that's kind of just what I'm doing now, and then I'm also trying to change the color scheme. but I will later find out that you can't change it in this section, you have to change it in another section. So there's going to be like a good 5 minutes of me struggling with this color scheme on how to change it and how to do all of this stuff, but I promise it works out at some point. So at least then when we actually do work it out, I can explain how you're supposed to change all of this stuff. But as you can see, I did go through and start deleting all of the little stuff that I had in there beforehand. I really wanted to work on just like a blank canvas, or as like blank as I could. And you know, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and I have no idea how, but somehow the website just, it all shifts to the left, and I'm not sure how that happened. But at the moment, I'm clearly struggling with the navigation section. This is me actually trying to figure out how to, I think I was trying to like centralize it, and then I was also trying to get my logo to appear in the colors that I wanted it to appear on. And for some reason it kept appearing on the old color scheme. It just, I couldn't figure out how to get it, or how to change it. And so it was just really confusing me, and nothing I tried, nothing worked, and I was getting really annoyed by it. And this is me figuring out that the theme is still wrong. I don't know if this is actually how you're supposed to change the theme. I really don't remember. But even with me changing this theme, it still didn't work. So I'm getting a little bit annoyed. I've gone back to the beginning. I've gone in and edited it all, and it's like, this isn't working. I guess part of the fun is struggling with it, because I've never done this before, you know, like I said, I'm not a coder. So I'm trying to figure out how to make it look good, while also, you get to see into my folders. No one docks me. But yeah, I've never done this before, and I kept color picking from my, like, palettes and everything. My background palette, I should be specific. And it just wasn't working out, and this first 5 minutes is really me just struggling, because I'm trying to make it all fit together, and I'm trying to make it all work. So this is me saving the logo, and first of all, I save it with the background on, and it still doesn't work, and so I'm freaking out even more, because I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then I go back again, and this is where you're supposed to pick the color palette, right? Where this black section is on the left-hand side where it says styles, that's how you edit the color palette, right? And I know we jumped there very quickly, but that's because I literally cut out 30 minutes of me trying to figure this out, and it was really annoying, and I couldn't figure it out, and I was getting annoyed, and I had to redo a bunch of stuff, and it wasn't working. Luckily for me, I have no idea how I've done it, but most of it is most of the first page is centralized, which is great. But then I think at some point something happens. Oh, we're gonna ignore me doing that on Spotify. At some point it all just shifts to the left slightly, and I have no idea how to fix it. And unfortunately, that is a very common thing that's gonna happen in this, I think. But this is me playing around with here we go. It suddenly isn't centralized anymore, and I'm really confused. No, it's leaning slightly to the right. That's what's happened, and I don't know how to fix it. But anyway, we fixed that, and we're moving on, which is great news. But it's a bit of a struggle, I think, and I don't know what I'm talking about. This is completely unscripted. I have notes, and I'm not looking at any of my notes, and I don't know why. I can't figure out why this isn't central anymore. And it doesn't let me change it. It doesn't let me do anything else. So I kind of just moved on out of protest. At least I think I did. I moved on out of protest. So right now, this is where I'm going to be adding in, like, it's called the site tagline, but I think I changed it for, like, a quote. But it's me just saying what the website's about, why I've made it, and, you know, kind of guess who I am at the same time. So if anyone just happens to stumble across this and not know who the fuck I am, it means that they can at least get some kind of, a little bit of a background, I guess. Yeah, this is me trying to figure out how to, you know, fix the text, and it's not particularly working. But yeah, it was just as I said before, a struggle. But part of my plan was that I was going to have this take up the whole, like, I guess screen, so it was like a long one, and then I'd split it down into like 2 sections after it. So this is me getting up the, right, so here we go. I've added the quote in. So this is going to make it a lot bigger, which is nice. I think I made all the text a little bit bigger as well. And then I got rid of that one section that we were just on. So now I have actually added in, I'm pretty sure it was called quote, which was amazing. Very helpful. I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer. And so when I was talking about splitting things, there is a tool called Layout Grid. And on there, what the fuck is happening here? Okay. On the Layout Grid, it basically kind of, it just splits the sections. So you can have it split into 1, 2, 3, or 4, like, columns, I guess. And I prefer the 2 because I think it makes it lay out a little bit nicer. And in there, I was going to add, what was I going to add? I was going to add the blog post, which I think I sacked off because I couldn't really understand what I was doing. And I think I come back to that last. And I was also going to add in, what else was I going to add? Oh yeah, the covers. I don't think I add the covers. I think I ended up just like sacking that off a little bit. But I went through and added all of my social bars at the end, at the bottom even though I don't use like half of them now. It's nice to just have the links in case I ever wanted to go back to it. And I wanted to try and add on like all of like my webtoon like links, but it wouldn't let me. So I think in the end I didn't add any of them, which was sad, but I did end up adding in, what did I end up adding? I think I just added the link tree to finding it on other websites. This is me adding in the trailer and me trying to figure out how to make it smaller, because it just takes up so much of the screen, and I wish there was just like a little bit of a layout. So this is me making it a little bit smaller using, again, another layout grid, which are literally a godsend to me. Yeah, I appreciate them so much. Yeah, very appreciative. Love them. This is me then just kind of going through my library, just making sure everything's working correctly and how I wanted it to work. And yeah, I didn't really have anything else to add to this because I liked the way it worked and I liked how it was laid out. So yeah, this is me just trying to see if I can add anything in, anything that's gonna, you know, make it a little easier to like read the text on it. And I don't think I did. Basically what I was looking for was like if I could add like a blank color onto the background so that the text wasn't having to fight with the background, but I didn't find that, which is a shame. I think if I was going to try and do that, I would have had to add in like just done it manually, I guess, if I'm adding in images and stuff. So this is me then changing up my social section. I cut out me having to, you know, write in my whole social section. You can go to the website and find it. But yeah, I was not having to watch you guys. I was not going to force you guys to watch me figure out how the fuck to write about myself. Because as you can tell, I struggle to speak about myself and what I'm doing. Okay, so I need a quick PSA. I did cut out me trying to set up the blog because it had my full legal government name on it. It has this whole video has my full legal government name on it. Oh my god, I need to edit this so badly. Hang on. None of you are going to understand this because it's all going to be done in post. But I'm going to have to crop this entire like speed edit to make sure sensitive information is shown. Oh dear god. Anyway, I think I go back in and just make sure everything's working how I kind of wanted it to work. I will say, spoiler alert, I have gotten rid of the blog. It just didn't seem to work for me, like, a lot of this video. So, a little bit confused, but there's nothing really else I can do about it, you know? And as I said, not a coder, don't understand shit. And I think that's really obvious. And you know what? I'm okay with it being obvious that I don't know how to code or how to make a website. I think it gives it charm. Okay, so now that my basically really terrible ramblings are done, I think we should dive back into the website so I can have a better, I guess, explanation of what the fuck I was talking about when doing all of this. So, bear with me. Okay, so we are back. This is the website. So, as you can see, the navigation bar is still moved to the left, and I don't know how to fix that. It does make me a little bit sad because it means it's not all lined up, but I feel like I can get away with it because there's this big ass rose here. So yeah, and we've got my little explanation here. And at the moment, I've just added in the character trailer I made for this. I figured that once I actually make some kind of like a webcomic, like actual trailer, very similar to like I guess the way that I've imagined it in my head is a little bit like how you see the like manga edits, but in like a movie style trailer format. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be on my list of things to start doing in July, hoping that I am not busy. But yeah, that's what that is. And I didn't end up adding in obviously the blog post because I got rid of it, and the rolling covers. I figured that if I just keep this homepage as simple as I possibly could, maybe that's a good thing. If I start getting, I don't want to say notoriety, but like, I don't know, achievements, I guess, in the space or anything like that, then I can add them here just as like an explanation for who I am. And then obviously my socials, and then I think this one goes to Webtoon. That it doesn't load. Okay, thank God I tested that. And then we have the library page. This is what I mean when I said everything shifts to the left, right? Because there's this big open space, and I have no idea how to change that. No amount of me editing things could get me to change it, and I'm really confused by it. But I really like how this lays out. It's very cool, it's very fun, because you can press read, and it will take you to where the chapters are. So we've only got one chapter at the moment, but, you know, we're working on chapters in the background. We're going to start uploading them soon. I'm very excited. But yeah, that's that one. And then if you go back to the library, you can go read this one, chapter 1. There's only one chapter. It's really bad quality, but that's because I made this for printing, and so the DPI was like 60? Yeah. Oh no, like 300, but like it doesn't work properly. But that's fine. We don't have to worry about that because people are only reading that for like the shipping. This is the one that looks nice. If I can scroll. There you go. It looks nice. So we're happy with that. I have to show Wanderlust as well. Yeah, this one's fun. Anyway, that's the library. We also have about and support. So this is what I mean with like what I was going to do. I've got my name, pronouns, kind of what I've been doing in the background, what else I do, and then my socials. So like if I brought another person on to say be an inker or something, I'd put them underneath me. Be like, meet the team. Here's this other person who I work with. But yeah, that's them's the goal. And then obviously I have the portfolio at the end, which is a mix between, you know, things that I've done for the webcomic, like college stuff, personal project, character that will show up eventually, character that will show up eventually, character that will show up eventually, more characters that will show up eventually, a D&D character, and something I did for college. And then most of this is just personal stuff. That's my favorite illustration I've ever done. You can go find it on the website if you want to have a look. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got. And that has been me redesigning my website. I know this has been a bit all over the place, but I would like your opinions, and please be nice because I'm scared and sensitive about this. But in all seriousness, if there's anyone out there who knows anything about like making websites, please leave me some tips because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm like 85% sure I just made like a torture video for someone who does coding. Apologies. If you've enjoyed my all over the place commentary, or, you know, just enjoyed watching me struggle, please let me know by leaving a like or subscribing. You can do either or none. I'm not bothered. And, you know, maybe I'll see you in my next video.